ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Welcome back, this is Arlene and you're listening to ASEAN Daily, where we bring you all the latest updates from Southeast Asia. We move on to economic and societal side of Southeast Asia. Of course, when it comes to economy, we seldom really talk about Timor Leste, but it is situated in Southeast Asia, although it's not a full member of the ASEAN organization. It is definitely one of the up-and-coming country, and hence you have President Joko Widodo pledging to improve cooperation in investment, infrastructure, and health with Timor Leste during, guess what, his first official visit to the country. It's really great to see that President Joko Widodo wanting to put in all the money in terms of infrastructure development worth $344 million during 2011 and 2015. They also hope to increase the cooperation to rupiah 7 trillion or equivalent to $504 million in 2016. President Joko Widodo said that both countries will co-develop downstream business and cooperate in managing liquefied natural gas known as LNG. Whilst in the banking and telecommunication sectors, their cooperation will be optimized. Bank Mandiri, for example, has been operating in the country since 2003, and Telkom is a state-owned telecommunication company in Indonesia, has been operating since 2013 as well. Indonesia will also help Timor-Leste in improving connectivity by providing resources and crew training to build the country's flag carrier airline. And President Joko Widodo also include his coordinating Minister of Economic Darmin Sanusian, Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi, Maritime Affairs and Fisheries Minister Susi Pujiastuti, and Youth and Sports Minister Iman Nahrawi were received by Timor-Leste President Taur Mantan Ruak and Timor-Leste Prime Minister Rui Maria de Araujo on Tuesday last week. Discussions focus on several key factors on bilateral relationship, including solving border issues and future investment and cooperation in various sectors between Indonesia and Timor-Leste. Also, not to forget that Indonesia is strongly supporting in Timor-Leste inclusion towards the ASEAN membership. In fact, is bidding for ASEAN full membership for Timor-Leste, saying that it will be important for their efforts to improve their economy and social welfare, as well as attracting investment. Moving on to another news in the economic side, we all know that Ford is having a lot of its market share in Southeast Asia. But who knows, besides Thailand and the Philippines, Vietnam has become Ford's number 3 market in Southeast Asia. Vietnam was Ford's third biggest market in Southeast Asia last year after Thailand and the Philippines. This is according to Mark Kaufman, director of the U.S. car maker in the region. The 3 markets contributed significantly to Ford's record of 103,975 cars sold across the region, an annual increase of 3.3%. Thailand surpassed all other ASEAN countries with overall sales of 36,463 units. Philippines came second with 25,372 cars sold, up to 25% year-on-year. Vietnam came third, selling a total of 20,740 units, an annual increase of 48%, which means that Vietnam is definitely catching up with its neighboring country as one of the largest markets for Ford. And we also see Malaysia at 12,130 units sold, trailed by Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos. Last year, the Thai-made Ford Ranger led the company's sale within the bloc and became the best-selling pickup truck in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar, both in 2014 and 2015. It was second bestseller in the Philippines and Malaysia. Who knows? And the model sales across the region rose about 8% from 2014 to reach 54,114 units, followed by the figure of a Ford SUV EcoSport with a 13% increase in sales. Anyway, although great news in Southeast Asia where we are seeing increase in car sales, unfortunately, Ford will be exiting Japan and also closing its market in Indonesia. Ford Motor Corporation is pulling out of Japan and Indonesia, saying that market conditions in each country have made it difficult to grow sales or make sustained profit. Japan is the most closed, developed auto economy in the world, with all imported brands accounting for less than 6% of Japan's annual new car market. This is being expressed by Neil McCarthy, saying that the 12-nation TPP trade agreement in its current form will not improve Ford's ability to compete there. And in fact, Congress could vote on the pact this year. Neither market is larger for the Dearborn, Michigan automaker Ford. Last year, it only sold 6,000 cars and trucks in Indonesia and only 5,000 in Japan. That's really a poor number when you make the comparison with countries that I mentioned earlier in Southeast Asia. And the company in an email statement said that the decision was communicated to employees and dealers. Ford will exit the country before the end of the year and plans to explain customers its commitment to servicing cars, providing parts, and making warranty repairs. He said also that sales are expected to decline in Japan in coming years. Analysts have said that it is due to aging population and declining interest in cars among the youth in the urban areas. Whilst in Indonesia, it was difficult for Ford to compete with local manufacturing and vehicles in the key market segment. According to McCarthy, he said that Ford has restructured its business there but still has less than 1% of the market with no reasonable path to sustain profitability. With the trade agreement was being negotiated in 2013, Joe Hinrich, Ford's president of the Americas and a former head of its Asia Pacific operations, said that Prime Minister Shinzo Abe should be told to open Japan's automobile market, and they hope that the US government will send a clear message, maybe via TPP, that any future trade policy with Japan must ensure a level playing field and not come at the expense of American workers. We move on to the social and cultural side of Southeast Asia. Well, we all have watched the horror movie Annabelle, but this time this is the real world Annabelle, and it is happening it is now a trend in Thailand where Thai airline allowed passengers to buy seats for quote-unquote supernatural dolls. And it's time to board the plane. But you should cross your finger if you are in Thailand, hoping that you are not going to be seated next to a child. But it's not an ordinary child because it doesn't cry and move or kick. It's because she's actually a Laktip or supernatural child angel doll. Sounds too bizarre to be true? Well, not if you're boarding a flight in Thailand. The lifelike dolls have become so popular. The regional carrier Thai Smile Airways, a a subsidiary Thailand's flag carrier, Thai Airways recently instructed its staff to allow passengers to purchase a seat for their Luktip dolls. Luktip are believed to possess a child's spirit and bring good fortune. Thus, many Thais have taken to treating them like real kids. The internal Thai smile memo being circulated among Thai media saying that dolls have to be buckled up like human passengers and will be served snacks and drinks. As with real children, they are barred from sitting in exit rows. Don't have a ticket for your doll? It will be treated as a carry-on luggage and stowed during takeoff and landing. And popular trends have started with Thai celebrities too. Why do people believe that dolls are possessed by a child spirit? Though many of the Luktip are imported, they reportedly go through a ritual in Thailand that involves implanting them with a child's soul. They became popular when local celebrities started posting on social media about the impact of dolls have had on their lives. Today, owners frequently share photos of winning lottery tickets, attributing their luck to the dolls, which range in size of 10 to 22 inches in height. Price starts from 3,500 baht, or equivalent to about $100, but can go as high as 300 or 400 US dollar for the limited edition dolls imported from, guess what, the US. And we move on to another news, final news about Southeast Asia that is really interesting is Indonesia will be transform itself into a diplomatic capital of ASEAN. Indonesia is shaping up to be the diplomatic capital of Southeast Asia as marked by the inauguration of the EU mission to ASEAN in Jakarta. They like to see Jakarta as the host city of the ASEAN and missions of their foreign partners. In the long run, signifying itself as the diplomatic capital city of ASEAN. This is also a concrete step in strengthening bi-regional ties that EU has officially assigned a mission to conduct its relations with the ASEAN Secretariat, the office of which is also located in the Indonesian capital. The EU, its institution, and member states rightly regards ASEAN as a vitally important partner, and according to the EU, that it aims to intensify political and economic relationship with the region, which was marked by the commitment in doubling the cooperation funds to be channeled through the Secretariat, amounting over $184 million. In the months to come, the EU sought to advance bilateral commercial relationship with ASEAN while keeping up the region-to-region FTA as its final objective. Lastly, want to highlight something that is also developing in Southeast Asia, which is the launch of ASEAN Anti-Terror Digital Center, which will be happening in May. This is according to Malaysian Minister Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. The Deputy Prime Minister said that the Digital Messaging Center was expected to begin operation on May 1, where they will adopt the template used by the US and the UAE to establish the center. Government has located 200 million ringgit for this purpose. And according to the Home Minister Zahid Hamidi, that discussion has been going on among 3 government agencies to manage the center. Malaysia has moved ahead in developing a counter-messaging center in line with its effort to counter terrorism and extremism in the cyberspace. It wished to be an imperative for all nations to employ more effective strategies and commitment, more resources to counter radical narrative, including on digital platforms. The two-day conference saw experts from ASEAN countries and their strategic partners such as the US, Japan, Saudi and Australia sharing respective countries' experiences in de-radicalization and rehabilitation programs. And also Malaysia and the US have agreed on November last year that the meeting between Prime Minister Najib and President Obama about the setting up of this digital platform against extremism and radicalization. Anyway, that's all from us today. Thanks for listening to Durian ASEAN. You can always catch us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or you can listen to us on the go via our Durian ASEAN app in front of your desktop by going to durianasean.com. There are a lot of interesting information that you can check on our website. Anyway, have a great day.